Other questions or comments? All right. Thank you, General. Appreciate it. Next, item number 8, update San Francisco-San Jose section.
Mr. Chairman, members, I just want to give you an update on the San Francisco-San Jose section relating to the, I think, two terminologies that you have learned to understand by now, which is phased implementation and blended system. You know that in May we requested from you the approval to continue working on a phased implementation plan for the peninsula, so San Francisco-San Jose section. Just before that meeting, a joint announcement was made by Congress Member Eshoo, Assembly Member Gordon, and Senator Smithian, where they had requested that we look at something called a blended system. And as there was no clarity as to exactly how these two systems compare with each other, we needed some more meetings with some of these authors, and at the same time the board said just hold back a bit, do not go into all types of phased implementation studies until you get better understanding of what is meant by the blended system. So what has happened in the meanwhile, and that's all I want to tell you, is we've had some meetings with some of the authors, and I think we've received some clarity. One of the words is a minor word, but the word about working within the Caltrain right away. There's agreement now that it should mean substantially within the Caltrain right away. That to an engineer means, is a bit of flexibility that we needed. Secondly, aerial viaducts, aerial structures or viaducts were forbidden by the original document throughout the peninsula, and there is some better understanding on this particular item that obviously where cities are not in disagreement to use such viaducts, aerial structures, that we can obviously continue using aerial structures or viaducts, because some people see benefits in that solution because it gives them a lot of freedom in the cities, and they can have underpasses, they can get traffic through flow, and they actually prefer it. So there's agreement on that. And also, although I stand little under correction here, I think we have still a little bit of further discussion to do on this one item, and that is there's going to be some need for aerial structure in the peninsula, if we define the peninsula up to and including San Jose, and that is if we end up with an aerial structure in the San Jose Diridan Station, we're going to have to get to that aerial structure in the San Jose Diridan Station, and that means we're going to have an aerial structure leading to it. And therefore, there are some places where, purely out of a design, from a design point of view, we are definitely going to need that flexibility, otherwise the system will not be buildable. But I would say that we've achieved quite a lot of clarity. Another item that the press seemed to have picked up on was that there should only be a two-track system on the peninsula, and clarity was reached with the authors as well that this was not the intent. In fact, the document doesn't mention a two-track system. It mentions we must stay within, and now substantially within, the right-of-way. So we will have to finally have the amount of tracks that you need to be able to support the system. Clearly, there's still work to be done. You know as well, I mentioned at the last meeting, we've put some actions in place. One is we put an action in place to do a thorough throughput analysis. Caltrain wants to do that themselves with support from us, but they've got some consultants working on it. And that work will take until the end of July to do. So we will not have an outcome on that before the end of July. It's not in my hands, but Caltrain's doing it. And we need to obviously ensure that we're going to have a meaningful amount of high-speed rail trains that can use the system. Otherwise, it's not worth putting any investment in a system like that. Second thing is there are some issues that require further clarity with respect to the adherence to Prop 1A. For instance, the station bypass requirements. So we're getting AG's opinion. Senator Simothian is aware of that. Assemblymember Gordon is aware of that as well. And so we're working on getting some clarity on Prop 1A issues and also CEQA issues. So in the interim, I have obviously directed the project teams for San Francisco and San Jose. That means PB to some extent, so our program management team, and HNTB to reduce their activities on the peninsula, because we need to have clarity first before we know what we are going to be designing and doing the continuation of the EIR and EIS on. So, on the other hand, some of the project team members are cleaning up the documentation that we had. I mean, that's just good engineering practice, not to leave whatever is nearly complete, but to complete documents and so on. So there is some work taking place to ensure that whatever work has been done is tidied up and cleaned up, and we will do that in this period of time. But in the interim, we had a request from Senator Simothian and Assemblymember Gordon that we should get back to them by beginning of August. We have advised them that this is not really possible, because if we only get the study by the end of July, beginning of August, or the 1st of August will not be possible. But there's an agreement that later in August we will get back together with them again and start talking about further options on the peninsula. So that is the update on where we are with respect to San Francisco, San Jose.
Thank you, Mr. Van Ark.